Sony looked good when Xbox One was announced, and now they're starting to really kind of peel back the layers and expose their true self.
There have been
So,
memes aplenty around of
oh my God, it's been a.
Squidward peeking through his blinds
I
at
love that. Here, I'll even post.
Nintendo,
I
and
think
that's hilarious.
I think
Nintendo
I've
and
got that. Yeah, if
Xbox
that
playing
link
outside.
works, there you go. I just posted in chat. But it is definitely exciting to see Sony struggle with this, and I don't know if this is a good move for them, to answer your question, Spectator. Um, I mean, one of these giants is going to have to announce something about what the next generation is. We're in that timeline, but this is the part where I feel one of these giants in console will finally say, "Look, we don't have a console. I think we're there. I really do." And I, Sony's already going to put a console out. Let's see what Nintendo and Microsoft do. I'm really interested in that.
I
So
think it's weird for me because they have all the exclusives, they have all the hardware sales. We've already mentioned that they're lacking the daily activity. Their people aren't logging in to play their games. So we've already discussed on other podcasts that companies don't make money on hardware. They make money on subscriptions,
subscriptions.
digital
Yep.
downloads. That's why Microsoft was pushing that 5 years ago at E3. It makes me wonder what Sony's plan is here. I think you're onto something, Poop, because they're panicking. They see
Yep.
Microsoft with the subscription software. They see people handing Microsoft $20 a month, $9.99 for Xbox Live, $99 for the Game Pass, and now that's merging to the Microsoft Windows 10 and moving to Nintendo and moving to mobile access, and Apple access is rumored to be access to it. And Sony's sitting there like, wait, we won this generation. What's going on here? Like, what happened? Because Xbox One beat PS3 in my opinion. Xbox 360 beat PS3, PS4 beat Xbox One, and now Microsoft's winning, and there hasn't even been a hardware war yet for the next generation. So
Exactly.
it's very
And
interesting.
you can see Microsoft's putting those things in place.
Yep.
They are setting themselves up for cloud-based gaming,
Yep.
where you can access it from any device, and you pay a $20 bill every month, and you've got your games, and that's it. It's no different than what Hulu is. It's no different than any of these other subscription-based entertainment platforms, and it's I'm excited for it. I really am, because the only thing Sony has going for them are their exclusives, their AAA titles, their IPs that are just specific to them. The second that that platform isn't enough for those titles and they start going elsewhere, Sony's gone. Sony is gone from the gaming world, I will say, not from, I mean, they'll still do their other things, but that's the only thing keeping them afloat right now. God of War, not Red Dead. Help me out here. Some of my voice is going. God of War, the Naughty Dog stuff. I mean, those are the only ones keeping them alive.
And I think it's also important to point out too that the exclusives for Sony are dwindling. So Square Enix was a Sony exclusive for decades. They only released content for Sony. And the last 3 Square Enix titles have launched for Xbox as well. You had Final Fantasy, you had Kingdom Hearts 3 recently, and then there was another one that came out, I think, a couple years ago, as soon as they merged it over. So let's not pretend that Sony's holding on to those for a while. They're slowly like, wait, we can make a lot of money if we bring both of these people into the house as well.
It's funny that you mentioned like the whole cloud-based gaming thing, because as my Xbox, rest in peace, was shipped out the door, I came back in the house and got on my computer, which is a Windows computer, and was clicking around, and then on the bottom right corner I see I had just downloaded Crackdown 3, the campaign, on my Xbox, and I was playing it, shit the bed, and then on my computer it pops up Crackdown 3 downloaded, and so what the hell? And I look, and it's the same game. It's just I'm able to play it on my Windows computer now. And
Play anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And so that is the next step in gaming, like you mentioned. And if people aren't going in that direction, and like say Sony's still stubborn about being a PS4 exclusive, you're buying a PlayStation, you're playing PlayStation games, you're going to see Microsoft run with this, and you're going to play it on a tablet, and then you're going to go and you're going to play it on your computer at home, and then you're going to cast that to your TV and play it. Your wireless Xbox controller, my Elite controller, works on my PC as the same as it does my Xbox. Then I could run over to my TV and do the same thing. The Nintendo Switch has been really great, I think, in that transition, where they kind of did a different approach, where it's a handheld and then a dock and then that kind of thing. But that's the same kind of thing. The more mobile you can be with your gaming and more multi-platform you can be, the more successful you're going to be.
And I'm laughing because I think Solid, who was here, kind of predicted this a little bit because we were kind of jokingly razzing on Nintendo a little bit about how it's more oriented towards like young audiences. They know what their
Yeah.
wheelhouse is, and not even
And handhelds.
and not even 6 weeks after that, Nintendo's like, oh, by the way, we're gonna have the Xbox subscription. Xbox has been
Right.
known for more mature gamers. All their exclusives are rated M. They tailor more towards the sex and the violence and all that stuff. Nintendo's more in the kiddie realm. Sony's kind of bounces back and forth. They'll release an
Mhm.
Uncharted series, and then they'll release The Last of Us, which kind of bounces. So now Nintendo's in Xbox's wheelhouse. It's interesting to see all that kind of play out a little bit.
Well, and Nintendo's smart about it too, because in the past, out of the three companies, Nintendo has been the one that really doesn't play nice with everyone else.
They stay in their
they
own
just
lane.
they just do their own thing.
Yep.
But Nintendo's now like I think what they do is they're recognizing Microsoft's network potential,
Right.
and they're buddying up to them, saying, you know what, you've got a really good infrastructure, and if I'm going to release our games on a store, maybe we can do a little work here together. And that's exactly what's happening. Nintendo is putting themselves in a position where they can distribute their content on a much larger network, and maybe even, I don't even know, but maybe further on down the road there might be some bundle stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of potential here, and I do know this: Phil Spencer is sitting in his tower going, "Eat shit, Sony."
I was gonna say, because let's not pretend that this olive
He's in
branch.
Bowser's castle now.
Let's not pretend this olive branch wasn't extended towards Sony first for the last 7
Yep.
years. Hey Sony, open up your servers. Hey Sony, you guys want to open up them servers? No,
Crossplay's
no,
been on
no.
the table for a long time.
And Microsoft's
Rocket
been-
League was the first one.
They've been extremely transparent with it. Microsoft's look like, here's the email. We sent it to their developers,
We
and they
want this
said
to
they
happen.
don't want it. And now Microsoft's like, fine, we'll go to Nintendo, we'll go to Apple, we'll go to PC, we'll spread it all out. I think Adam's talking in chat too, talks about what we've been seeing with Disney Plus and all the Blizzard failure too. Very excited that we're on the new cusp of the era of gaming. That kind of rotates us over to Amazon. So I don't know if you fellas have heard Amazon's rumors. People that are in the know of the organization of Amazon says Amazon has the not only has been acquiring platforms like Twitch and stuff like that, they also have the server space to be releasing the first ever streamed console. So the way that it would work is you would take a Fire Stick and you would plug it into your television, and you would have access to 1080p 4K games.
Where have I heard
streamed-
this?
streamed
I said it
directly.
about 10 minutes
Yep.
ago. Yeah.
Yep.
So Amazon, you mean Skynet, right?
Yeah,
Basically.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
We're
So
right there.
they're dipping
Bezos
their
is
toes
sitting
in
there like, yeah, the T1000s are coming soon.
and thinking.
Sorry, Secretary, I didn't mean to interrupt. What
No,
you
it's
got?
all right. It's spot on. I mean, I think this is what everybody wants, what everybody needs. Like, I don't want to have to spend $500 on a hardware every 5 years. I'd rather have
Mhm.
$85 stick that connects to my Xbox controller that I can plug into my television and travel with. I still question, and I think that's maybe what Amazon's hesitating. I was reading some off-the-cuff article that 18% of America still uses the dial-up internet.
No way.
Really?
A very large number in rural areas. So when you think about gaming in
I
those
could see
areas,
that.
and the fact that it's free, I believe you go buy like a $5 adapter and you have internet at 5 kilobits a second.
Oof, fine.
But that could be what's holding it back. You know, if you think about
Right.
how long does it take you to just download a 35 gig game or 68 gig game? I have very good internet, and it takes me 45 minutes to do a download like that. So
Oh, cool.
that could be limiting as well. But I think Amazon, they excel at everything they do. I mean, they touch
Right.
it turns to gold. The guy Bezos left an investment company 20 years ago and said, I'm going to sell books digitally. He got laughed at, and now he turned that into
Richest man in the world.
the conglomerate that it is today. So
Yeah.
Crazy.
they definitely have the server space. So do you guys think that that could kill the hardware race, or do you think that it's something that people want, or do you think the limitations of internet in America would hold it back?
I don't think you're going to see a big push to that small of a device, because I know what it takes now to push games, and you need an actual computer to try and push a 4K game at any kind of frame rate. You're not going to get that out of a thumbstick. You need an actual GPU. You need an actual processor. Could you get 720p gaming? Sure. Could you get maybe 1080 out of that? Why not? But to get 4K, 144 hertz kind of stuff, you're gonna need a bigger powerhouse behind it.
I think what they're talking about, from what I read, obviously this is a rumor of a rumor heard by the water boy that sold it to a news outlet.
Mhm.
So nothing's been confirmed, but I think the way that it's being described is remote access. So you don't even download the games. The games are played on a server housed by Amazon. Your stick is a unique IP address key to access those games, and then you
Yeah.
live stream with a little bit of a controller delay that they probably fine tune with Mixer's FTL proves that that's not a thing.
So this is that whole cloud-based gaming.
Yes.
Like
It's it's purely
Crackdown
processed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crackdown was fed to us. Crackdown 3 was said, fully destructible environments. Everything's handled on server side over here. You handle on your game side, and everything's processed. So I'd be interested to see how that would work out.
Yeah.
The biggest issue with that would be the latency between player input and response time of the game where it's being processed. We are close to that technology where it is literally like a light bridge, but there's still several gates in the way slowing us down, whether it be your ISP, whether it be your just
Net
your overall
neutrality.
connection, where you are. Because I mean, some of these cities are still running on these archaic phone line systems where one line runs down an alley and services a whole neighborhood.
Right.
And I don't know if you remember the old time phones, you could actually like hear other people click on and click off and stuff. Because I mean, we're still running, some DSL still runs that way. So you will have latency no matter what. Happy camper bots. The thing though about cloud-based is what it's going to cost. What is it going to be cost to the user? That's the biggest thing I'm interested in.
It'll be subscription based.
It just
a month or
yeah. And this is the ideology that I have about in 30 years, life is going to be a la carte. You just pay what you want and you piece your life together. I want this entertainment package, I want this gaming package, and I want this. And it's kind of what like not network, but satellite TV was trying to do with all the different television stations. But the television stations like, no, we don't want to waste that much money on that, or we don't want to lose that much money. But the thing is, shut up. I'm not that old. You know what I'm talking about, Adam. The situation now is not only is how it's going to be handled in the cloud, but also the network structure we have now as a world is not there. There are going to be a lot of people still missing out on this, and for decades, it's sad to say. Google has made a push to try to improve the network infrastructure of not just the United States but the world, with their Google Fiber and stuff like that. And we're a long way off from everybody having access to that.
So let's say Bezos launches a satellite and it gives internet to the whole United States of America. Do you think, we've discussed hardware, no profit in hardware, games, I think $1.37 for a $60 game, and they're stuck in a market where they can't raise the price because people would revolt, and they can't do less advertising because people wouldn't see it. So they have to do DLC, they have to do season passes. If Amazon comes out with this and they partner with Microsoft and they give you two different tiers and they say, okay, $89 a month, you will never have to pay for an update, you'll never have to pay for another game, you never have to pay for content. It's all as it comes out, it's delivered right to you for $89 a month. Is that a number that's reasonable? And then they say, okay, hey, if you would like Xbox games as well, $109 a month. Is that something people would pay, or do you think that'd be too pricey?
You're talking $1,200 a year,
but you would never have to pay for another video game. So if you think about,
so you're never buying a console.
You're never buying a console,
which is $500.
You're never buying DLC.
So say I buy 3 games a year. That's another what, 180 there.
$200. $200. Let's say you get like some pre-order stuff.
Now up to 7 DLCs through the year. I'm up to 7, 8, 9.
I would give you another 100, 150 on those, depending how in depth you go. Microtransactions.
It's not far off, but if I have an unlimited library of games, then I don't know if I pay $100, but
I'm just throwing a number out there.
The only issue I have with that, and this is for me, quote unquote, I'm agreeing with Adam, I'm a little old, is if I stop paying that subscription, I no longer have access to that game.
Right.
And what if I want to go back and play a game that I owned? Right. Now I don't have that feature. We're kind of an older generation of gamers where I have a box in my closet, with a couple hundred games, discs, cartridges, whatever. And some of the novelty of going back and playing some of those old titles, and I don't have to renew a subscription to do that. So I mean,
what if they did like $109 a month, or you buy a 1 year price for $1,000 that comes with unlimited storage and it'll back up all your games. So even if your subscription falls down, you don't renew it the next year. You could renew it again, and then you would be able to access all the games that you played previously.
Yeah, maybe if there was like a checkbox to like get legacy and like you always have access to it or something like that. That would be cool. It all comes down to the license to the game and whether or not you have access to it. So I mean, you're buying a license, whether you buy it on a disc or whether you buy it on the internet, you're buying a license. And I don't know. I mean, that's part of that whole thing that threw Xbox One under the bus was who owns what and where does it go and
how do I trade? How do I let my friends borrow it? I think
I would answer your question. I would buy it, but that's something that I would struggle with.
I think I would too. If I think about not needing a console, not needing all this other stuff, not needing DLC, I can't tell you in 2018 how many freaking season passes I had for games that I played for 2 months and didn't touch again. I just got an email the other day for like, I can't remember what game it was, but it's like, hey, by the way, don't forget you bought the DLC package. Don't forget to download this and claim it. So
that's me with ESO, Elder Scrolls. They're like all the time. Oh, you bought the $110 package, but you haven't logged on in 2 years. So
I think about all that way, and this is pure profit, by the way, for Amazon because they're not distributing the hardware. They're not having to advertise because why the frig does Amazon need to advertise? Right. I mean,
I don't.
They could sponsor
YouTube having to advertise.
I mean,
so you guys get those emails like saying you bought this? That's like saying, hey, you ate this donut. You're a fat ass. Why aren't you eating?
I created
a membership you got. You're looking a little big.
I have a gaming email address that just gets sent that bullcrap updates and reminders.
That's crazy.
And I think I bought the season 5 pass for Rainbow Six Siege, and I have not even played it in like 8 months. But they're like, oh, you haven't downloaded the last 9 operatives we released. It's like, oh yeah, I should probably do that.
You can get them if you want them. You bought them.
So last topic I have real quick, Apex, the juggernaut that was supposed to usurp Fortnite, barely put a number in concurrent viewers or concurrent active streamers. So a number was released, and keep in mind, let's put everything in perspective. Apex basically poached the top 15 Battle Royale streamers off of Twitch and gave them full partnership access. They gave them exclusive streaming rights. They paid them to play this game a minimum of 6 hours a day. And on top of that, Fortnite, February was a down month for Fortnite. The season pass was ending. A lot of the challenges expired 2 weeks ago. They had the Marshmallow event at the beginning of February, but haven't done anything since. So the end of February, or the last numbers I checked, had Fortnite at 7.86 million concurrent viewers as an average. That is an increase of where they've been. Every month they've gone up. This is even more of an increase. Apex was at just over 2 million. So my question is, everything fell in Apex's favor. And I am a Fortnite fanboy. I stream regularly Fortnite. However, I've been waiting for another game to overthrow it. Do you guys think that as the season passes continue to grow, as the Apex comes out with more content, that we'll start seeing those Fortnite numbers dwindle? Or do you think it's kind of what I think Solid was hinting at, where it's going to really take a third player getting into the market, like Tetris 99, to really start taking some of those players away from Fortnite?
I think we're forgetting that Apex is less than a month old. Did Fortnite in their first 30 days have the hot as a pistol start that Apex did?
No, well, the first 30 days they were only PvE.
Right. And so the Save the World stuff, that didn't really take off. So, when the BR came out, were they seeing numbers like Apex was?
I think that I could pull, while you're talking, let me pull it up real quick.
Okay, I can do that. I can talk. So, yeah, no, it's interesting. Vamp. Yeah. So, I watched the whole Twitch Rivals tournament and the Boom tournament that came out, and so for Apex, and they were pulling big streamers. Ninja was there, Tim Tatman, Doc was there. So I mean, like you said, these Apex has been on their grind. They've been getting these guys in and getting the name recognition. Shroud has had a huge following with Apex, as we saw with Dizzy, who was Ninja's teammate that carried through the whole tournament. The guy went from having 30 viewers on Twitch on average, and now he's in the thousands. He's blown up because of this game.
I was watching him today. He had over 25K at one point, and he has over 11,000 kills in the game.
It's unreal
on one character.
Yeah, on Wraith, who's a cheaty girl. Um, I won't get into that, but hitboxes are a real thing.
Gibraltar needs a diet.
Gibraltar's 133% too big. Big thick boy. Anyways, so do I see Apex taking over Fortnite? Probably not, because the culture around Fortnite will not be the same. The culture around Apex will not be the same as it is around Fortnite. There's kids that, like, my daughter has never played a game of Fortnite in her life, but she knows the Fortnite dances. She knows the characters. It's turned into a brand more than a game. Whereas Apex will never, in my opinion, never turn into that. You're not going to have people doing Apex finisher moves for Halloween costumes. Like,
Maybe.
it's just not a thing. And is it a good BR? Yes. Is it fun to play? Yes. Does it have a good following right now? Yes. But it won't have the cultural impact that Fortnite has. You're not going to see Drake coming over and playing with Shroud and having that be getting news coverage like it did with Fortnite. So it's just different games.
Yeah, I agree completely with you. And Adam's popping off in chat too about it. Fortnite is, and I'm sorry, Sectator, because I know you're a fanboy of it. It's for a younger generation, in my opinion. I heard someone say, I read it somewhere actually, where they like Apex because when they shoot someone, they don't turn into an 8-story building. And I mean, it's true. There's a different dynamic in the game Fortnite itself. I think they're starting to overextend their game a little bit with the amount of stuff they've added into it.
They just vaulted a crap ton of stuff. I think they got that player base as well. But yeah, I think they got that.
Okay, so but I know from what I hear of hardcore Fortnite players is that they're kind of unhappy with the last season, and Fortnite's releasing this next season free if you do the challenges. I mean, I think Fortnite sees the pressure from Apex, but I also don't think Apex will be a killer to Fortnite. I just think it takes the BR group and puts them into two solid subsections that, if you like gunplay, if you like tighter, faster, and then you're going to go Apex. If you like the more strategy when it comes to building and you like the strategy of I think that Fortnite offers you that much. And Fortnite is more iconic with the younger audience as it appears that a lot of the hardcore competitive are embracing Apex a lot more. Right. So, I mean, it's two different subsects in my opinion.
I think so. Circling back, numbers, second month, I can only find numbers from the second month the BR was out for Fortnite. 30 million players to Apex's 25 million.
Oh, so they were pretty close.
And that was comparable. That was a year before cross-platform
that was had the roles been reversed and Apex came first, would we see 30 million Apex players and then Fortnite with 25 million? Maybe. Fortnite's so ingrained, it's tough to.
Well, 5 years ago, Titanfall 2 came out, so Respawn was a little busy.
Yeah, right. So, I'm just saying, hypothetically, had the games been reversed, would Fortnite have as much steam as it does right now? Whereas Apex came into a saturated market with Fortnite and all these other BRs. Who knows?
So I think I'm going to get maybe a little ranty here. I think the hate culture is so strong, right? I think people are, same thing with Ninja, right? People are praying for Ninja to fail because, I mean, he said it perfectly on stream. His sub numbers are down back in December because everybody's looking for that next guy. Fortnite's huge. It's massive. Everybody's looking for that next game to push the limits, to redefine BR. I honestly think that it's going to come down to whoever caters more to the streamers. And the reason I say this is because I've been keeping a close eye on viewer counts on Twitch over the last week and a half. And when Ninja and Courage JD and some of the bigger people are playing Fortnite's number one. When Ninja and those players are playing Apex, and Shroud is trying very hard to hold Apex up on his own. He's doing a very good job.
He's doing a good job.
He's the number one sub channel right now. I think he's at 57,000 subscribers or something like that. But I think whoever does more for the streamer, and right now Respawn doesn't have an affiliate program. Respawn, where like your everyday streamer can get currency by people spending money in the shop, and Respawn doesn't have a lot of this stuff that Fortnite has done to cater to streamers. But I also think that that's really good because I think it's showing that streamers can now stream whatever they want. we got into an age for so long where I don't know if you guys know. There's a couple World of Warcraft streamers that were sucked in. You guys probably know Soda Poppin because he's a meme.
Hmm.
But he was so bored and so burnt out on WoW, and every time he changed something else on, he'd lose 80% of his viewers.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing for a lot of people out there. And I think
I
it's
was
a
just
really
watching-
good era.
I was just watching a Tim the Tatman stream, and someone who Tim the Tatman is a huge Fortnite guy. He used to play Ninja, and he was on there playing Apex, and someone in chat donated so that it would be seen. And the comment was that, you've given up Fortnite pretty much. And Tim the Tatman took a break from the game and addressed the audience and said, I have not taken a break from Fortnite. I'm enjoying another game right now. And that's totally up to the streamer. I think it's great. There's been tons of videos and everything about how, as a professional streamer, that's how you make your money. Do you stick with your core game, like a King Ithalian with Destiny, or like a Ninja with Fortnite, or do you do what you want to do and play the next game? And when Goth played Sea of Thieves, his numbers were way down because all his Destiny audience that he had wasn't watching, but he was having more fun. And a good example of that is
Summit 1G.
Summit. So Summit.
Yes.
Summit was playing BRs and having huge numbers because that's what's popular.
Blew
But
up
he
at his stream.
He punched his monitor. It was crazy. And
Quit for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he took a mental health break, came back, discovered Sea of Thieves. Now he's fucking loving the game, and his audience sees that he loves it. And now he's had a huge resurgence, and he's back
Third.
doing super. Yeah, he's doing
Third
super
on
well.
King, I think you hit it on the head there. And injecting my lane as a streamer guy here, I really feel that when I watch Apex streamers, they're having more fun.
Yeah.
And that translates to the community, that translates to the culture of the game. And I mean, you're right. Tim the Tatman has kind of hung up Fortnite for now because he's having so much fun playing Apex.
Right.
And you look at all these streamers today. There was a Twitch Rivals promoting the new addition to Black Ops BR or whatever, the new Black Ops thing coming out, and they had a tournament. And I shit you not, Dr. Disrespect was, because the load-in server time was so long for Black Ops, he was trying to play games of Apex in between of these server load-ins in this Black Ops tournament. I mean, this was like a sponsored thing for Black Ops. He's actually sponsored by Black Ops to do streams for their content, and he's trying to play Apex in the middle of this because he's so bored. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I enjoy watching streams of Apex more than I do Fortnite. I like the game more than I do Fortnite just because it's fast, it's quick, it's all about shooting, and it's exciting. It's really exciting, and the games are nugget size, perfect for watching. You can watch a 15-minute game, then you can go do something. It's just it has all the right check boxes for me.
So I play Apex when I'm taking a break from Fortnite, and I think Fortnite is a game. I think you guys both hit it. Kind of just summarizing everything before we turn it over to Poop over here with some of his streaming news. But Fortnite is just an added dimension, right? If you guys go to YouTube right now and search build strategies for Fortnite, you will not find a video under 22 minutes, and it's because it's a legit strategy. Like I spend more time as Fortnite practicing building than I do shooting. Apex, you could just freaking drop and get a Mumbai and just miss all your shots and die instantly. I butchered it because the gun does not deserve to be pronounced correctly.
No.
Mozambique.
And you die and you're in the next server, or you kill and you move on to the next, or whatever it is. But I think it's going to take a third BR, maybe Tetris 99 to usurp Fortnite officially.
Tetris, that's for the eggheads.
Tetris 99 looks so dumb. I'm sorry.
It's a cool idea, but it's not my kind of platform game or platform of a game.
Yeah. If you're drunk with your friends, maybe.
Sure.
But I'm not looking to have fun playing Tetris.
Poop, what is new in the world of streaming?
Nothing too crazy. For those of you that have been streaming using OBS, you'll be happy with some of this news. I'm gonna lead off with the OBS stuff. OBS has been working diligently with NVIDIA to improve the encoding process of their NVE, NC, or NVENC chips and stuff. And to do a quick to do a quick, very brief, and not really covering most of what the technical terms would be, a lot of streamers utilize CPU streaming, where they put a lot of the encoding process and stress on their CPU, and you'll see a lot of streamers either have dual PC setups or they'll have a really screaming of a CPU that can handle it, because it is very intense, and it causes it to get really hot, because not only is the CPU handling the encoding, which is intensive, but it's also handling everything else on that PC. The game, all the background stuff, everything. Well, there were some NVENC encoding older ones for some of the higher end NVIDIA cards. It wasn't as good as it would like to have been, because it still went through the system RAM and still went through the CPU and then back. But now what they've done is they've rebuilt it entirely with the release of OBS version 23, and it has significantly improved the performance quality. It has taken most of that stress off of the CPU and put it into the GPU where it should have been. Instead of handling it through the GPU's RAM and out to the RAM and back, it's just handled all in house. Now, this is for select NVIDIA models, by the way. And now what that does is that it frees up the CPU to be a better device within all the other components of the computer as well. So if you downloaded the latest version of OBS, you will see that that's an option if your video card supports it. There's also a couple other things that are super exciting. They are streamlining with regular OBS Studio, not Streamlabs OBS, but regular OBS, which was, if you weren't afraid to get your hands dirty, you kind of had to figure out some of the fine tuning and finesse of it. Whereas Streamlabs OBS was more released for the main not wanting to get super under the hood kind of streamer and just like set up, click, go. Well, OBS Studio now is offering up. Yes, it is, Adam. It is in the 2080 Ti.
I think any series that was released last year, so the 2060, the 2070, 2080, and then the 2090.
My founder's 1080 is in there too.
That's what the KB likes.
That's CPU. What was it, Pascal?
Right, Pascal. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have that information right offhand, because I'd be reading like a million charts to you guys. But I will say those that have gone from the old NVNC to the new NVNC have seen upwards of 66% quality increase. Wow. And load taken off of their CPU, which is incredible, absolutely incredible. So moving into the next part, the OBS release also has streamlined more of your channel integration to Mixer and Twitch. Twitch and Mixer, before with regular OBS, you had to put in your actual stream key. They are now implementing an integrated system where it will actually sign into your channel through OBS Studio, so you don't actually have to do your stream key. And it also opens up the opportunity for you to include browser sources directly to like your chat, notifications, other interactivity things that are offered, and they're working on improving that. This is incredible. And I think personally, I like OBS Studio more than Streamlabs OBS. I feel like I have more functionality. I feel like I have much more room to do things in it. And I really love this idea. I'm going to be poking around with it the next couple of weeks and kind of hopefully have a more in-depth analysis of it. So that's super exciting for those streamers out there that are always going through the YouTube videos trying to figure out what settings to run on OBS, how to do this, what's better for this, yada, yada, yada. It's awesome. Now, at the end of last year, more like October, there was the TwitchCon, and TwitchCon was announcing a couple features that are coming out. Well, we're starting to see some of those features. One of the first ones to come out of the gate in February was the partner and affiliate emotes update. So basically what has happened, and I honestly think this is part of the amount of people that this has been motivated by the amount of people flocking to Mixer and other streaming platforms like Facebook and YouTube, is they're increasing the number of emotes that affiliates can have, as well as partners. I'm going to center this more towards the affiliates out there, because I think that's more of our viewer base. I don't think we have a lot of partners checking in our content quite yet, but I would say that this is directly a result of the people that have been flocking to other platforms. Previously, if you made the affiliate program, you had one emote at tier 1, you had one emote at tier 2, and one emote at tier 3. That's 3 emotes total. Now what they're doing is they're increasing it based on your subscriber points. If you have a tier 1 subscriber, that's 1 point. If you have that's 2 points, and yada yada yada. You get X amount of subscriber points, you unlock another level of emotes that you can have. So to kind of go through, and this is kind of confusing. You can have up to 7 emotes total. You can have up to 5 tier 1 emotes, which means you can have 5 of the 4.99. If you purchase, you can have 5 emotes there, and then 1 additional elsewhere in the tier 2 and the tier 3. I think this is Twitch's way of trying to incorporate more community, more interaction with trying to get more people to buy their subscription plans for their favorite non-partnered streamers. And I really think this is a move in the right direction for improving the quality of the affiliate program. They're desperately needing to improve that, and this is a definite leg up for those guys. I recently made the move to Mixer. I'm kind of bummed because that means that I could have put all my favorite emotes in the tier 1 for all my subscribers. But I mean, hindsight's 2020. I'm going to stick with Mixer, but I'm super excited for the affiliates out there. I think this is a good move, very good move. Just a quick overview of the partner emote. Basically, they're taking the same subscriber point system, basically ramping it up, because if you're a partner, you're supposed to already have a significant number of support, and you'll be getting more emotes as well, depending on the larger number of subscriber points that you have. Outside of that, the other thing that they were talking about at TwitchCon last year was the co-streaming slash stream where you not co-stream. What's the word I'm
Crowd
looking
control?
for? Just no. wait. Where you could multi-stream, where you could stream with multiples on the same screen. That wasn't really a feature integrated with Twitch. You had to go to an outside web source to do that. I know King Gathalion, Broman, and their Rare Drop company, raredrop.co, they have their own version of that, which they're actually working to improve with having Twitch and Mixer and other streaming sources. You can actually mix multi-stream all those together, but this is going to be handled in-house for Twitch. I know that, speaking of those guys, Broman, Goth, and some of the other big guys were doing that with Anthem lately with the release, and they were testing it out. So it's still in beta. It's not out there for the general population. Just select partners are utilizing it, but it is, again, another move in the right direction. It's just a matter of building it on an archaic system that Twitch is, whereas Mixer, with its sexy Microsoft underbelly, is kicking some serious butt with move towards that.
I think we're seeing Twitch's first acknowledgement that Mixer is a threat. The emote tier you just described is what Mixer's had in place for 8 months. You get two emotes at 0 subs. You get 4 at 5, 6 at 15, 8 at 30. It's the exact same system. So I think they're finally maybe acknowledging, whoa, we got a competitor. They've gone up 15% viewers every month for the last 5 months. So interesting.
No, it's definitely a move to kind of adjust what the current economy is, the ecosystem, and like I said, I'm excited for affiliates on Twitch. I think they're going to do a great job. All right, King, I'm going to set you up here. You ready? Here comes the bump in the set. So basic other things that they're talked about is interactivity with the viewers, something that I feel is really lacking in considering the viewer to streamer relationship on Twitch. The delay that's usually there between 10 to 15 seconds, and as well as just not a lot of infrastructure for games. And there was basically, it's called Team Warp World, or warp.world if you go there. They started out with basic speedrunners, platforming games like Mario Maker. I know Zelda was kind of in there as well. And they wanted to kind of create a community that was able to interact with those streamers that were highlighting those. And they were the backbone in creating this platform for Twitch. And it is called crowd control. And we've seen a supreme upsurge of usage in this. I know I saw Goth using it. One of the first ones he was using was A Link to the Past. And then I also saw Broman jump in on there a little bit. And basically, it is an interactive bit enabled extension through Twitch where the viewers can use bits purchased through Twitch to enhance, change, interact with the streamer and the game that they're playing on, most of the time, a very, very, what I feel is a very awesome level. You can kill the streamer in the middle of the game. You can give them power-ups. You can make their world a living hell, or you can shower them with gifts. And I want to hand this over to to King because he's going to talk more in depth about it. But this is the crowd control extension. It's pretty cool.
So yeah, the crowd control extension thing is going to be the next step. Mixer's already done this, correct? You Mixer guys, they've already been digging into this quite a bit.
They have a subsystem that allows the streamer to set up a lot of interactive components.
So one of the things as a non-streamer and as a viewer, I get all my streaming and Twitch and Mixer content from a viewer's point of view. The reason that so with Destiny, they have a Guardian Con event every year that Broman and Battalion do. And one of the big draws to that is that each streamer gets a 4-hour block, and in that block they have goals. If I raise $1,000, I'll crack an egg on my head. If I get X amount, I'll do this. There's incentives, and the reason they're able to get $2 million in donations is because people want to see these things happen. And I think on a smaller scale, you're going to start to see these interactive streams, these crowd control streams, do that kind of thing. Whereas right now, if I'm in a stream and I want to donate to the streamer, I'll give them bits or whatever. It's cool to see the little bit animation go across the screen, but how much cooler would it be for me to watch Poop playing Apex, but then I'm able to say, drop your current gun, here's 100 bits to do so. He gets his, what is it, 80% of the bits that are spent?
Yeah, it's still utilizing the 80%.
So the streamer gets 80 bits out of that. Twitch or whatever gets 20. And now me as a viewer, I just made him drop. And so, of course, everybody loves to see their name on TV. That goes across. King Dutch just made Poop Shizzle drop his weapon. And then I get to see you actually interact and have to drop your weapon. That's where you're going to see a big surge of interest and income come from this, because everyone wants to interact with their TV at home. How many times have I been watching The Simpsons and I wanted to make Homer do something, but it never happened. Whereas now, if I'm watching my favorite streamer, I can make you do something because of me. And you've never met me, we might have never talked, but I just influenced you in the game, and that's super cool. With that, the big new kind of avenue that's being taken with crowd control gaming is the Pokemon games. Red and Blue support just came out. You can make people release the current Pokemon they have. You can make them do all this crazy stuff. You can kill them instantly. They're Pokemon, all this jazz. That's just, I think, one of the cooler things that has come out in the streaming side of things as a viewer. As if you guys are streaming, would you be into that? Would you kind of support that platform?
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
I've been experimenting with Mixer. They use it's called MixPlay, and being Fortnite player, my stream can actually donate sparks and pick where to drop on the map. So you can have people select on the map where to drop. So I've been experimenting with that. I think the more we can get, I can only speak for myself. I stream for the interaction, for the people. I'm a performer. Yeah. I don't do it for me. If I was playing video games for me, I would never turn on a camera. But I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy people hopping into chat, telling me how their day was. That's something that I love doing. I think the more we can get them involved in the gaming, so it's more like you're playing next to a friend and less like you're playing across the internet, the better. And the more that we could do that, I'm all for it. I'm all for doing it.
You Poop, same thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm typing in chat here. The main draw for me to go to Mixer was that this was already in place. Right. And it was in place to where it's built into the system and integrates with whatever you're doing, whether it be Xbox or it be, of course, it is Microsoft, so it favors the Xbox a little bit more than it would any of the other consoles, or your PC. Like I'm planning some events where I can do like Volgar. I don't know if you know that game. It's a very brutal platforming game, but I can set it up on my PC where they can hit buttons for me.
Oh, cool.
So like if I'm running and I jump, or they can jump for me and kill me, or they can help me. I've got an idea where maybe I don't even touch the keyboard and the chat gets through the level. I mean, there's just stuff like that would be really, really interesting. And I really feel like this is where it needs to be. This is why I want to do it. I don't want to just sit there and play games. I'm not stellar I'm not dizzy at Apex. I can't entertain based on my pure skill. I want to interact with the chat, and I want to cuss at the chat because they screwed me over, and I want to laugh at the chat because they screwed me over. And it's that kind of connection that I want with my community. And I feel Mixer is first to that now, and Twitch is trying to catch up with this. And again, I'm excited for them. I think it's a really cool platform.
Nice. Well, cool. Yeah, no, so I want to segue into something else that I've been kind of interested in covering. I mentioned Pokemon with the crowd control thing. In the hot new Pokemon news, I don't know if you guys knew that was a thing, but Gen 8, which is the newest generation Pokemon, was just announced today. That is Pokemon Sword and Shield. That'll be coming out late 2019 is the first full Pokemon game coming out for the Switch. It's using the hardware and the horsepower that the Switch has to offer. Nintendo just put out a trailer for it. It looks amazing. The worlds look amazing. Everything looks great. Gen 8 is the newest version. Gen 7 started back in 2016 with Sun and Moon. So this has been a 3-year process to get to this point. We'll see if the horsepower of the Switch is something that makes a huge difference to the game itself. The 3 starters were revealed, which were Grookey, which is a little grass monkey, Score Bunny, which is the little fire rabbit, and Sobble, who is a little tadpole that spits water and is super upset about everything. So it seems interesting. Looks like a cool game. I myself have been getting back into the Pokemon swing of things. Solid, who is our other co-host, he and I have been doing some emulator stuff, and so I think with the graphical quality and the actual gameplay of what the Switch can offer, I think you're going to see a bigger market for the Pokemon franchise. So interesting in that.
I could tell you that I'm interested because I liked Pokemon. I haven't been a fan for a while. I mean,
yeah, same.
The first time I saw an ice cream cone Pokemon, I was like, come on, you gotta be bored. Like, what's going on? But I like the idea that it's more immersive. It's an RPG. Graphics are updated real. It's almost like Pokemon Stadium for the 64 all game long, which is amazing. I mean, it piqued my interest. I literally told my wife today that we need a budget for a Switch because I procrastinated buying one long enough.
I don't have one either, so it's on the wish list. But yeah, we'll see what kind of impact it makes. I'm sure as soon as it hits, I think it was slated for, it said late 2019, so I'm expecting fall, maybe early winter time. Probably maybe even around the holiday season would be a good time to launch that. But should be good. I think that the Pokemon franchise has such a cult following that Nintendo, with putting out a good new game, the Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu came out for the Switch, but wasn't received as well as everyone thought it would be because it wasn't a full new game. So we'll see what it's all about.
And they tested the grounds with Pokemon Go. It was genius. Like, Pokemon was kind of falling off a little bit, right? I mean, I didn't hear much about it. It wasn't making a big splash. Pokemon Go came out and it freaking blew up. Yeah. Like 3 months after launch, they had a con in Chicago that millions of people showed up to. And then now they're like, okay, people still like Pokemon. And now my son's bringing home freaking Pokemon cards that he traded. My 5-year-old's like, I traded my Spider-Man toy for 20 Pokemon cards. I'm like, oh, okay.
Let me dust off my cards, boy. I got some stuff. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I never really got into the Pokemon craze. I recognize it as a very staple in the gaming industry, but and it definitely gave my Nintendo some clout. I never really got into it, but I do see like its potential here as being very, very cool for those that are involved in that cult. And I know that like if Solid was here, he'd be ecstatic to talk about it.
He'd be drooling right now over this.
Yeah.
So another game that I want to talk about real quick, we were kind of talking about games that have ebbed and weaved, like the Pokemon franchise in popularity. Do you guys remember a game called Destiny?
Huh?
Destiny.
Oh, he's a streamer. He's a streamer on Twitch, right?
No,
yeah,
Nope. Bungie put it out. It was Destiny 2. It's still alive. Some people have forgotten about it. I myself had forgotten about it for a little bit. I'm sorry. Destiny.
I have DLC for it, apparently.
You probably got an email. I got the same one.
You got an email.
So it's the new season of the Drifter, is coming out March 5th, this coming Tuesday. It's been a long awaited. We've had the season of the Forge here with the 801 and all her forges to make all these cool weapons. That is coming to a close. Season of the Drifter is coming out Tuesday. The whole focus behind this is Gambit and the Drifter and his story. Bungie's super excited about it because there's new sandbox changes coming out. There's new exotic changes. There's a whole overhaul of the Gambit game mode. So with the Gambit, like the whole Gambit structure, the rounds of the structure, the blockers are all changing. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of goes on. You're getting new missions, new guns, new gear, all new stuff. So this is going to be another grab for attention from Bungie. This is actually, I don't know if from the recent Activision split, they're still under that kind of roadmap. So this still is going to have Activision taste in it. We're not fully separated from Activision yet. So this will still be, Destiny as it is. Is it enough to reclaim all the attention that they've seemed to have lost? Probably not. I think Destiny itself is having a hard time keeping up and keeping attention. Some of the things that I saw in this expansion or this update that I did not like was the big thing that Bungie struggles with is balancing the game, and with updates and sandbox tuning. And they brought out the Nerf gun pretty hard in this DLC, in this update. And I'm not a fan of Nerfs. I think if you're going to do something to a game, you should be buffing things to come up to certain levels, not dumbing things down. One of the big kind of nerfs that I saw was shotguns. Across the board, PvE and PvE, shotguns themselves are getting neutered. You take one of the big ones, which are full auto shotguns in Destiny. Right now, if a shotgun has the full auto moniker on it, the full auto trait, it gets 100% boost to its fire rate. So you take a 100 round per minute shotgun, it goes up to a 200 round per minute. Bungie's taking that 100% and taking it down to 10%. They're literally cutting it.
Wow.
So they're not reversing the buff. They're reversing the whole gun down to the
whole thing. So you're taking these guns that were meta PvE guns like shotguns and everything, and you're just killing them.
That is World of Warcraft level nerfing.
Oh man, it's bad. And so the rate of fire is going down. All period are having their rate of fire drop down. So you take even the slowest rate of fire shotguns that hit the hardest, like the 55 round per minute. They're going down 45 rounds per minute. So shotguns themselves in Destiny are going to start to feel real different.
Do you think this will have a profound impact on like the PvE side with regards to DPS?
Oh, DPS
to bosses.
Well, you're taking. So if my shotgun hits for 10,000 damage and I'm shooting at 200 rounds per minute, but now I'm only shooting at 110 rounds per minute. Of course, my DPS is going to get cut by that much. So we'll see how it all works out. Sounds like a big nerf. Yeah, sounds like a big nerf to me. There's streamers that are tweeting out right now, like your big PvE streamers, Redeem and all those guys are saying we have damage numbers already on these shotguns. As soon as this hits, we'll have new ones, and we'll see how big these nerfs are. Bungie in their this week at Bungie, they put out said they're going to adjust ammo economy to kind of make up for it. So we'll see whether they give us a bunch more in reserve, but shotguns as a whole, even the big thing in PvP that I saw is that Bungie didn't give specifics because they are very hard pressed to give specifics, but they said shotguns in PvP, the one hit range that they can hit at right now is getting shortened quite a bit. So even in PvP now, you're going to start to see less shotguns because you're going to have to be right on top of people for that to even be, one hit kill. So
I can say historically with MMOs, they tune the development of guns for PvE and then adjust the damage for PvP.
Yeah.
It's been an issue for any MMO I've ever played. Gear will come out, people will rush the raids to get it, and then they'll just go and start one-shotting people in PvP.
Yeah.
I think there's been a couple games. I think Final Fantasy 14 does this, and World of Warcraft do this, where now there's two different sets of stats on the gun: one PvP, one PvE.
That's how it should be,
and that's the fairest. It's the fairest way of doing it.
There's no reason why. Like a good example from D1 was like Vex Mythoclast, which is a fully auto fusion rifle. People got that from the raid. That was a raid only hard mode thing. But then he brought it into the Crucible, and people found out that it absolutely melted. And then Bungie went in, kind of brought it down to a more reasonable level, but that also affected the PvE damage, and then people stopped using it because it just wasn't as effective of a tool of the meta, if you will. And so I am not a fan of nerfs. Like I said, it's you're taking the game, you're upping the time to kill, you're broadening the skill gap. So I mean, you're shrinking the skill gap. Excuse me. It's going to be that even these high tier players that are using these weapons, it's all going to be the same at some point when everything kills in 10 minutes. It's just going to be whoever has the most willpower at that point.
Well, it's like the lead developer of Bungie said, if you want to play Destiny 1, go play Anthem. I'm just kidding. He did not say that.
That is not. Please, Bungie, don't come after us. So, we'll see. If the Season of the Drifter comes out, it's hot. I unfortunately don't have an Xbox right now to check it out when it launches on Tuesday, but I'll be keeping an eye on streams and Tweeter, and we'll see how everything goes down. So.
Sure.
We'll keep you updated on that in the next couple weeks. And so last thing I wanted to cover, guys, we're actually doing well on time here with just the three of us. I wanted to talk about the D's and D's. You actually mentioned it in our intro. So I will be talking about Saltmarsh, which is the new adventure that's coming out from Wizards of the Coast. It's called the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. It's a new adventure taking you from levels 1 through 12, which is kind of a campaign-sized adventure. It's gonna be coming out May 21st. You can actually get that anywhere right now. You can pre-order it at Amazon from Wizards. If you go to an actual hobby shop, a game shop, you can pre-order a special edition, which is a soft text, kind of soft touch version. It's got a different coating on the book itself, and it's got alternative cover art. It's super cool. We'll probably post a picture of it on Twitter or something. The cover art's super cool, but that's a hobby shop exclusive. You can only get it in person. If you order off Amazon or any online retailer, it's this traditional kind of cover art. $50 for the book, which is like every piece of Wizards literature. Usually after release, Amazon has these books for like $30. So that's usually what I do, is just wait and pick it up for $30 on Amazon. So it'll be interesting to see. This is the first standalone adventure they've had in a little bit. So new locations, monsters, items, and they're introducing ship to ship combat. So all you tabletop nerds, get hyped about that. It's gonna be fun. Maybe we'll cover it on Adam's campaign or Solids. It should be fun. And lastly, I wanted to cover each cast. I've been doing a D&D question and answer. We have limited audience now. Player with spectator and Poop, who doesn't know what the D's and D's are. So it'll be cool to get a little point of view from you two. Last week I asked if a player has a magic shield, has a +1 enhancement on it, and uses that shield as an improvised weapon. Do you get that +1 on the attack or damage roll? And your answers, I believe, were what? I know Adam said no.
I think I said no.
You said no.
Because the
Poop said, what the hell's a +1?
You can pretty much say that's one of anything. Exactly. I think I originally was like, if it says +1, then it's +1, whatever.
Yeah. So correct answer is that no, you do not get that +1 to your attack and damage rolls. The +1 is to your AC when you're holding that shield. Your damage roll would be just that of an improvised weapon. So, gotcha, Poop, you ignorant fella. Gotcha.
Hey, oh man,
and
I'm gonna lose sleep tonight.
Cry about it.
In your defense, that's like the first one you got wrong, though.
Yeah, no, you've been doing
the
well.
second question we've had.
I'm trying to spin this positively.
You've been doing well, man. You've had a good record. So,
all right.
I want to do my new question this week. See what you guys think, and then we'll cover the answer next week. Again, Poop, you might have a hard time with this one because it's a little specific, but
okay.
in your group, let me give you a scenario. In your adventuring group, you guys just finished a battle. One of your compadres took enough damage to be unconscious. Now, After the fight has ended, you see a group of guards, adventurers, whoever, coming down the pathway. They don't look too friendly. Guys want to get out of there. But your buddy that is down and unconscious is unable to move. So the wizard in your group casts polymorph on him to try and disguise him from the oncoming group. Is casting polymorph on an unconscious creature a possibility?
Okay, first of all, context. If someone's HP is reduced to 0, they go unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So they would be making death saving throws. There's two different states, or there's a few different states. You can be conscious, you can be unconscious and have 1 hit point, which means you're stable. And you can also be making death saving throws, which means you're at 0 hit points and you're rolling to decide whether you live or die. So this specific question is asking whether you're unconscious, friend. So you're not making death saving throws. You have 1 hit point.
Okay.
But they're unconscious. They're not able to move, think, do anything on their own. Are you able to cast polymorph on them willingly and disguise them from the oncoming threat?
Well, I'll go first since I don't know shit.
Yeah, go.
I don't know the parameters of what you can cast polymorph on specifically, like if you can do creatures, whether or not it's living or unconscious. I know that's what you're asking. So I would say, I mean, if you can cast it on a creature regardless, then you should be able to do it here.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to simplify it probably way more than it ever would be with what you're anticipating here. But I would say that if a creature can have polymorph, is that what it's called? And what that does is create an illusion, or does it actually transform them into an inanimate object?
I'm taking my unconscious buddy, turning it a frog. And so
was the frog unconscious?
I believe the frog would be unconscious as well.
Well, they just turn him into a rock.
Sure. Turn him into a stump.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be, it can be an inanimate object as well.
Sure, it's polymorph. Yeah, you can turn him into.
Okay, cool. Well, then I don't see why that's not a thing. Yeah, yes. Make the dude a turd on the side of the road.
Gotcha.
So, making sure I understand, Titan Creek was knocked unconscious again.
Yes.
And,
or he knocked someone unconscious.
I would say no, but I'm learning more and more that I'm kind of a douchebag of a DM. And the reason I would say no was because I think the spell says specifies creature, obviously, and then it says an unwilling creature has to make a dexterity saving throw or a wisdom saving throw. And because that creature is neither willing nor unwilling, because they are unconscious, they can't decide to make the throw or not. So I would say no, they would not be able to cast polymorph on it.
Cool. So we got opposite answers.
Yes.
One of you is wrong. One of you is correct.
I'm wrong. Probably.
Interesting. I didn't know that the one receiving polymorphing had to consent.
Mm-hmm. It's 2019. Yes. You always got to get consent. So.
Great. If I want to be a dead frog, I want to be a dead frog.
Hey, man, we will find out next week.
What it is worth, Adam also says he would allow it as the DM of our current campaign.
Adam says yes.
Yes.
Poop says yes. Sectator, being the asshole, says no. No one consented.
You're not wrong.
That's my no square. Don't touch me.
Don't ask. Don't polymorph.
That's it. Yeah. So cool. I like the way. If anybody listening, chat, if you're hearing this on YouTube or you're podcasting, just shout it out in your car somewhere. So that you think we'll cover it next week, and we'll get the correct answer rate from Wizards of the Coast themselves.
Awesome. Great job, guys. Poop Chisel, where can we find you?
You can find me on Mixer /PoopShizzle. You can find me on Twitter @PoopShizzle. And that's pretty much, if you want to email me, you can poopshizzleyt@gmail.com.
Awesome. King Doss, what crevice of the intrawebs do you live in?
Oh boy, the dark ones, buddy. So you can find me. You can find me on Discord at XLMGKing, and find me here every 2 weeks talking about some crazy shit. So that's where you find me.
Awesome. And I am Sectator. I go by Sectator Gaming on all social medias. You can click on any of our cards in the panel section down below to take you right directly to our Twitter page. Thank you for watching and listening. This does conclude our cast. Check us out in 2 weeks for our next episode of Metagame. Until then, remember, the healthy human mind doesn't wake up in the morning thinking that this is the last day on Earth, but I think that it's a luxury, not a curse. To know you're close to the end is the kind freedom. Good time to take inventory. Good night, everybody.